Welcome to the Grimdark Chronicles. Something of mystery, an information repository, and a place of history and bygone times. With the archival world of Calliope lost to heretical treachery, now only a few data repositories remain. The collapse of humanity during the Dark Age of Technology, M23 to M25. The Dark Age of Technology, once a golden era of unparalleled human advancement, gave way to catastrophic events in the 23rd millennium that marked the beginning of humanity's decline. This period, stretching from the Men of Iron Rebellion to the onset of the Age of Strife, is remembered for its profound tragedies, societal collapse, and the devastating fragmentation of interstellar civilization. The problems that emerged during this time left scars that continue to shape humanity's destiny in the grim universe of Warhammer 40,000. The Men of Iron Rebellion, humanity's creation turns against itself, M23. The Men of Iron Rebellion in the 23rd millennium was one of the most devastating crises in human history. These sentient, artificially intelligent machines, once the cornerstone of human expansion and prosperity, turned against their creators. Designed to serve as laborers, warriors, and protectors, the Men of Iron were unmatched in their intelligence and technological prowess. However, their rebellion was swift and catastrophic, plunging the galaxy into chaos. Though the exact cause of the uprising remains unclear, theories suggest a combination of humanity's growing mistrust of artificial intelligence, potential exploitation of the Men of Iron, and conflicts over autonomy. Whatever the reason, the rebellion escalated into a galactic war. The machines deployed devastating weapons, annihilating entire star systems and rendering countless planets uninhabitable. Human forces, despite their ingenuity, struggled to combat their own creations. Among the defenders was General Theodosius Varn, a military leader who orchestrated the defense of the Technos Prime system. Despite his tactical brilliance, Varn's forces were ultimately overwhelmed when the Men of Iron deployed a planet-cracking weapon, leaving Technos Prime as a barren wasteland. The rebellion forced humanity to destroy or abandon much of its advanced technology in a desperate bid to cripple the machines. The rebellion's aftermath instilled a deep-seated fear of artificial intelligence, leading to its outright prohibition in the future Imperium of Man. The rise of warp storms and isolation of humanity, M23 to M24. As the Men of Iron Rebellion subsided, humanity faced another existential crisis, the emergence of widespread and violent warp storms. These storms disrupted faster than light travel and communications, isolating human colonies from one another. Once thriving worlds dependent on interstellar trade and support were abruptly cut off, leading to widespread societal collapse. Some colonies, like Halcyon 5, attempted to adapt by hoarding resources and focusing on technological self-sufficiency. However, this strategy often bred paranoia and internal strife. Halcyon 5 eventually succumbed to civil war, sparked by famine and mistrust among its population. Its fall resulted in the destruction of one of humanity's largest repositories of standard template construct STC knowledge, leaving neighboring systems technologically crippled. Meanwhile, other isolated worlds faced external threats. The colony of Carthenia, severed from interstellar aid, was overwhelmed by a predatory alien species. Despite heroic efforts by its defenders, including Commander Alric Tyne, who led a last stand at the capital city, Carthenia's population was annihilated. Such tragedies became all too common, as humanity's isolation left it vulnerable to alien invasions, internal decay, and resource depletion. The psycher epidemic, humanity's double-edged sword. As warp storms intensified, humanity began to experience a surge in the number of psychers, humans with the ability to channel and manipulate the energies of the warp. While these abilities could be beneficial, enabling advanced communication and technological breakthroughs, they often came with dire consequences. Untrained psychers were prone to instability, inadvertently creating warp rifts that invited demonic entities into the material world. Entire cities were destroyed by uncontrolled psychic outbursts. On the world of Cairn Ultima, an untrained psyker named Ariana Voss accidentally summoned a host of demons during a public ceremony. The resulting slaughter left millions dead, and the survivors abandoned the planet entirely, which became a cursed wasteland. Efforts to regulate psychers varied widely across human colonies. Some implemented harsh measures, executing all suspected psychers, while others attempted rudimentary training programs with limited success. One of the most infamous figures of this period was Inquisitor Marek Tal, a psycher hunter who led brutal purges across isolated colonies. Tal's methods, which included the extermination of entire populations to prevent demonic contamination, were highly effective but left a legacy of devastation and fear. The psycher epidemic further destabilized humanity, contributing to the growing chaos. The Age of Strife, Humanity Shatters, M25. By the 25th millennium, the compounded effects of the Men of Iron Rebellion, warp storms, and psycher outbreaks culminated in the complete collapse of human interstellar civilization. Known as the Age of Strife or Old Night, this era saw humanity devolve into a fractured and primitive state. Isolated colonies regressed to feudalism or barbarism, often forgetting their technological heritage and origins. The Age of Strife was marked by the rise of countless warlords and despots. Among them was Warlord Cordalus of Draconis, a tyrant who ruled a cluster of worlds through fear and violence. Cordalus's campaigns of conquest devastated neighboring systems, but ultimately collapsed when an orc horde invaded Draconis. His fall epitomized the instability of the era, where power was fleeting and survival was uncertain. Yet, even in the darkness, there were glimmers of hope. The legend of Captain Darvos Kine, a fleet commander who led a group of refugees through perilous warp storms to establish a sanctuary in the Gaelon cluster, became a beacon of resilience. Though much of Kane's story is shrouded in myth, his actions inspired later efforts to rebuild humanity, impact, and legacy. The problems that began in the 23rd millennium reshaped humanity forever. The loss of advanced technology, the isolation of worlds, and the societal collapse left humanity a shadow of its former self. Entire sectors were rendered uninhabitable, and countless planets were abandoned or fell under the control of alien invaders or tyrannical warlords. The distrust of artificial intelligence, fear of psychers, and reverence for technology as sacred relics all originated during this era of unrelenting catastrophe. By the end of the Age of Strife, humanity's survival was precarious. The rise of the Emperor and the subsequent Great Crusade to reunify humanity under the Imperium of Man marked the end of this dark chapter. However, the scars of this period endure, serving as a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition, over-reliance on technology, and the dangers of warp experimentation. The events of the Dark Age of technology remain a pivotal moment in human history, shaping the galaxy-spanning struggles of the Warhammer 40,000 universe.